I'm going to let Nathan explain it for me. I thought he already handled that.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, so tell me this. We asked Brody this, and we'll ask you the same thing. What do you make of these injuries here in camp?
I mean, I think usually if something is a major injury, and I'll just speak for, around here, let's say, stuff like that usually, if Grant Delpit's leg fell off, it's leaking out. It's around town, and I haven't heard anything that leads me to believe that any of these injuries are really all that serious. And I think that it's probably smart. I mean, T-Bob, you've been through a million camps. I mean, we see how easily guys can get banged up in the year. You see how quickly you can be down to no cornerbacks and play in a bowl game, with a month to prepare and still not have guys healthy. So I don't think they want to take any risks. And I've said it all along, Jordy. I think that the one thing that can derail this team at this point is injuries. So if you've got guys banged up, I don't see the value of having them out there nonstop. Even a guy like Chase who didn't play a game last year and has been rehabbing since then. I'm not overly worried about how many fall camp reps he's getting. I just think the goal is to get to August 31st and be as healthy as possible.
Talking to Shea Dixon here on Off the Bench. Shea, so it seems like the daily headlines are just about like who's there or who's not. What storylines are you kind of chewing on that maybe the public isn't talking about as much?
Well, I mean, obviously the offense is a big one. I think that every day we're in there, they're throwing to the running backs. I know we get to watch as individuals, but individual drills, but still, I mean, we see them nonstop working with the running backs in the passing game, working with the tight ends. I'm sort of curious kind of how much those guys are getting involved. And I'll say this, I think that we hyped him up. I think Stingley's going to be special. I think that he is a guy who, we saw him all spring, so we're not raving him over him nonstop in camp. We don't get to see him go in one-on-one stuff. But when Christian Fulton gets back out there, I believe that Fulton and Stingley are as good as there are in the country. And I don't care that Stingley just turned 18, however long ago. So I think one of my storylines going into this season, I think this defense, I'll say this defense, all of the kids who have been here for as long as Aranda has are saying in interviews, look, he trusts this group more than ever. It's a lot of guys he's been around for a long time, and then it's a lot of guys he's brought up and trusts. And then you toss in newcomers like Stingley. I think this defense is going to turn a lot of heads. I mean, we talk a lot about the offense, but I think this defense is going to take LSU a long way.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right, is that the defense, even last year, they were really good in areas, but, like, overall, it was not truly a dominant defense. And it's first time, am I wrong, Jay? Is this the first time that Dave Aranda's been anywhere for 4 years?
Ooh, I would have to look. That's a good question. How was he at Wisconsin for 3?
I want to say that's the case. Either way, you're right. The defense has to take a step back to being elite. If they're going to do that, Christian Fulton going to be key. I hate to ask you another injury question, but I kind of hate the fact that Fulton returned for a day and then was out again, and it's a foot injury with the screw. What are you hearing about Fulton?
That it's nothing. The buzz around the Fulton camp is that he's fine. And
okay.
They're taking it easy on him. If he's here one day, not the next, I don't think it's overly alarming at this point. It seems like he'll be fine. That they fully expect him to be out there.
Shea Dixon joining us here. Shea, what have you made of Joe Burrow's camp?
Look, I think that the combination of Ensminger and Joe Brady and kind of their concepts and what they want to do, you couple that with Joe Burrow, and I think that the sky's the limit for him. And I mean that in a way relative to what we've seen from LSU quarterbacks in the past. Like, look, I think that everybody, and I've told you all this, and I've said it time and again, everybody gets excited every year, right, about whatever hire they've made. It was Gary Croton, and it was Cam Cameron, and it was Matt Canada, and I don't even know if they, Ensminger, and then Joe Brady, and Billy Gonzalez at one time when he was the wide receivers coach, and people thought they were going to. I mean, it's always something. I think the big thing beyond those two, and I think Ensminger and Brady get along great, is Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. They have a good quarterback. I mean,
Ryan Clark. How about what Ryan Clark said yesterday, Shea? Did you see that?
No, what did he say?
He was just on Twitter talking about how he got to see all of practice yesterday and Joe was making like big-time NFL throws. That he was like, I was very critical of Burrow when he transferred, but it seems like LSU finally has a guy.
I think they do. I mean, I think he's got all the intangibles. I think we'll see him running and him just being smart enough to distribute the football. Look, and that's all he has to do, right? And it sounds easy enough, but every receiver's back except Giles, and you've got guys who Sullivan at tight end, and Chase and Marshall and Jefferson, and other guys waiting in the wings, and these talented running backs. They've had that kind of stuff before, and you just lacked a quarterback. And I think that Burrow is a difference maker. We saw it last year. Had Burrow never showed up, were they going to win a New Year's Six bowl last year? I don't think so.
No way.
No,
no way.
I think sky's the limit. I'm a big Burrow fan. I'm a believer.
Confirmation on Dave Aranda. This is the first stop that he stayed for 4 years. He was at Wisconsin for 3 seasons before taking the job as LSU's defensive coordinator in 2016, now going into his 4th year for his first time as an assistant coach. What are we watching on the recruiting trail right now with the season right here on the doorstep?
I think that we're kind of on the verge here of them inching closer to a couple, potential more commits. B.J. Ojolari on Friday out of Marietta, Georgia, plays at Marietta, is going to announce he's an outside linebacker. I like LSU's chances there. They've really buckled in kind of throughout. So we are a couple days out from that. I think that's a top 150, 200 player. And then the next day, it's Coy Moore's 18th birthday, and he's having a party. The Rummel Raider, obviously, 4-star receiver, and he's talked about announcing as well. So we could be looking at a stretch here where they continue to add to the numbers before senior season starts, and that's a good thing because then you're only focused on just a handful more guys the rest of the way, and obviously holding on to everybody you got. Any
offensive line on deck?
Look, they're going to have to find an offensive tackle, and Marcus Dumerville is out there, and he has talked up LSU and Florida as sort of the teams to beat, and they had a good piece on 24/7. It's free now, but all of his teammates weighed in, where do you think he's going? They all pretty much said LSU. So that would be huge. Yes, I think they've got some guys, right, at OT. If they keep everybody around after this year, and you've got these guys like Dare and Cam Wire and some others, but I think you have to get one elite offensive tackle in this class before signing day. So hopefully, for their case, it's Dumerville. He seems to fit the bill.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how Anthony Bradford's going to be long term as well.
And Bradford, yeah.
Now, what do you think, Shea? Name a starting offensive line. Name what you think will start week 1. I want to see how it compares to mine.
Oh, I'm rather confident. I think it's Sadiq Charles is your left tackle, Deculus is your right tackle. I think a healthy Chasen Hines is your best left guard. I think Cushionberry is obviously at center, and Damian Lewis at right guard. So basically everybody back, and you've got Brumfield replacing Brumfield. I think a healthy Chasen Hines does that. When we saw him play last year, he was good.
He's really good.
18. He's a freshman.
Go 247. Read all his work. We'll see you at camp this afternoon. Thank you, Shea.
All right, guys. I'll see you there.
All right, Shea
Dixon waking up with us here on this Wednesday edition of OTB for a practice report. We'll be out there this afternoon and have our Hooters practice report on AFR on 5 o'clock.